This was a complete and total surrender and an embarrassing failure. We are seeing that we're closer to talks with the Taliban and the peace process than we've seen before.
I want to read to you something that you put on Twitter this week. To have our generals say that they are depending on diplomacy with the Taliban is an unbelievable scenario. Negotiating with the Taliban is like dealing with the devil. Madam Ambassador, the Biden administration says it's not negotiating with the Taliban. Do you not believe that?
I agree with you. They're not negotiating with the Taliban. They've completely surrendered to the Taliban. Because the U.S. policy on Afghanistan is working. We could see dramatic changes in terms of what the U.S. policy has been doing. We are seeing that we're closer to talks with the Taliban and the peace process than we've seen before.
And now we're negotiating with the Taliban. We'll see what happens.
In Afghanistan, my administration is holding constructive talks with a number of Afghan groups, including the Taliban.
Right now, what we're doing is we're negotiating with the government and we're negotiating with the Taliban, and we'll see what happens from it, what's coming from it.
Former Secretary of State in the Trump administration, Mike Pompeo, stood alongside one of the Taliban founders and helped negotiate this deal in which President Trump signed an agreement to have United States forces out earlier this year. Did that set in motion what we're seeing now?
You know, I think everybody's wanting to go back and talk about Trump. This is not about partisanship, Major. This is really about America and strength and making sure we get Americans out of there alive.
And she's rewriting history a bit when it comes to Afghanistan, criticizing President Biden, saying that dealing with the Taliban is like, quote, dealing with the devil. Of course, her foreign policy team that she was a part of negotiated with the Taliban. What is your reaction to what she and many other Republicans who are part of the Trump administration are saying now?
This is the tribalism that is absolute cancer in a reason-based republic. I mean, to your point, she had earlier given accolades and others to Pompeo and others who were indeed negotiating with the Taliban. And then, it's okay when it's the Republican team doing it, but now that Biden's team is in, she's making headlines coming out saying, this is crazy, can't be negotiating with the Taliban. You got to pick a flavor and stay with it. It has to be something more in the American system than my team versus yours.
I think everybody's wanting to go back and talk about Trump.